Happy Sabbath and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on a Sermon. And we have a change of location today. We're actually at the Community Building Evangelistic Series right in the heart of Maypen. And today I have with me Sister Elson, Esther Elson. So, Sister Elson, what are your thoughts on the sermon presented today?
Okay, then I thought that it was one which was very applicable. We found the two cars. Actually, my neighbor was informing me about them because I'm not so familiar with those types of cars. And she was saying that you weren't around during that time. But it was very applicable in that I was able to relate it to what we see today. Sometimes even on the racetrack for those who like to watch the races, and so it's not the prettiest car that is necessarily the fastest, but sometimes you have some old worn cars that new engines are placed in, and while the exterior might fool you, the interior is really what makes a car run and not the exterior. And it's the same thing as it relates to Christianity. It is our heart, and that is why it is beautifully stated in Ezekiel. A new heart Jesus promised to give the Ezekiel. He said, I will take away the heart of stone and I will give you a heart of flesh. And it is my desire that the Lord will do this transformation in my life as he has promised. And you know, it is so strange because there was a period in my life when I was really seeking after God. And that was the word that God gave me. A new heart and a new spirit will he place within me. He will take away the stony heart and he'll give me a heart of flesh. And when that heart of flesh is given to his people, then it doesn't matter what might happen around you. Everything changes. Everything changes. And if we ought to be the salt of the earth, then what we really need is not a change of the outward man, but it's a change of the inward man. And when you see a fast car, you know a fast car. When you see a converted man, a man whose heart is given to God, a man whose heart is transformed, then you will know. And that is how men and women will come to give their lives to the Lord.
Thank you. So how applicable would this sermon be for young people? We realize, especially in Clarendon, there is such an upsurge in crime and violence, and it is being reported that most of these criminal activities are being committed by youngsters. What hope do we have that was shared in the sermon today that we could spread, especially to the young people, for them to realize that there is a better path, a better way?
The better way that you seek as a youth is not a situation in which you can change or transform yourself. And this is something that as a teacher I meet upon a lot of young persons, and sometimes they're ambitious, they want this to happen, they want that to happen to them, but it is reaching to a point where you have to recognize that the surgeon, nobody performs an open heart surgery on themselves. It's impossible. You need an exterior, you need somebody from the external to actually perform the surgery. And this is what Jesus is saying to us. All we need to do is to surrender our lives to him. Tell him, this is the circumstance I was born in. This is what I have come to see. This is how I know people to live. This is my reality. But God, I know that you're able to do something that I cannot do for myself. And that is where we come in. Our job is to surrender our lives to the Lord. Our jobs is to lay down and allow him to do the work within us. And that is something that I experienced myself, where I got to a point in my life where I recognized that I simply could not help myself. I could not stop the evil that I was doing. Yeah. I could not stop the negative thoughts. Yeah. I could not change myself. And the moment I recognized that was the moment that I gave up and I said, Jesus, you need to do this work in me. And what I did daily, I surrendered to God. And I'm telling you, he just did a work in my life. He created this peace in my heart. He created a situation in which I did not need to think to do good, but I began to do good naturally because I was dwelling on him. I was dwelling on his words. And the good that I wanted to do, I found myself naturally choosing to do that good. So what I would say to a young person who is caught up in crime, who is caught up in promiscuity, who is caught up in a cycle, a generational cycle of poverty, stop trying to make it better. choose to allow God to do his work in your life. And all you need to do is to listen to him and to do what he asks you to do. And I'm telling you, life becomes a joyful experience. It becomes a peaceful experience. And you will wonder to yourself, why didn't I allow God to do this work in my life all along? So don't give up. Surrender your life to Jesus and see the amazing work that he will do in your life.
Amen. Amen. Could not have put it any better myself. A new heart, he says, he will give us. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time on Thoughts on a Sermon. God bless.
This program was brought to you by the Maypen Seventh-day Adventist Church. You may find more at Maypen SDA at youtube.com or by following us on Facebook at Maypen SDA Church. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.